Hey guys, good to have you back and welcome to the Python class once more. We're going to continue here by creating our rock, paper, scissors game. Now, just one thing before we get started. How are you feeling today? Of course, if you answer, I can't hear you. It's a recording. But don't forget, there is a Discord that you have full access to. Just hop in and toss a message or email me, whatever. If you have any questions or you're stuck in certain places, I can help. Also, I have a nice little quotes here in the background that I like to share with you because it's always good to be healthy, not just in your body, but also in your mind. Helps you to learn when you're positive and you have the right attitude and you work hard. And so I kind of like to share this with you. Stay strong, build faith, worry less, read more, be happy, eat healthy, exercise daily, network well, think positive, and there's a lot more towards the bottom there. So I do want to stress that it is important for your learning to mentally also ready yourself. So remember, I think you're awesome, and I know you're awesome. So let's be awesome together, all right? So I've started this project. I just went and click new trinket and select Python here as I've shown you before. I believe I've shown you before. Next, I clicked on the title here, give it a title, and then we're just gonna hit the save button to commit that. I've typed two print statements just to get the player ready. And so when I hit play, we have this little printout. So just a little welcome message to my rock, paper, scissors, and then a little line below that I'm printing there. Feel free to do your own. Now I do want to explain a few things in this class here. We're going to learn variables, inputs, and condition. This is some things that we've already gone over, but we're going to be using them now and learning a little bit more about them as we use them. If I wanted to print hello, this is wrong. You can see it gives me an error simply because the computer looks at hello as if it's a piece of code when it really just simple word that I want the computer to print. And so I have to tell the computer, hey, this is not a piece of code. It's a simple word that I want you to print. You know what I'm saying? So how do we tell it this simple word? Strings. If you said it, good job. Strings. To let the computer know this is a simple word, we add quotations. It's kind of like in real life when you're telling a story and you say, oh, he quoted, like, and I quote, you're trying to say that the way that someone said something is exactly how you're repeating it in your story. And so we're telling the computer, I want you to print this word just exactly as I write it, exactly how it was written. It's not a piece of code or anything. Just print it, computer. Don't think about it. Just print it. Right? So quotations. Don't forget it. This is very important. Now, could I actually get rid of the quotations and have this work? Yes. Yes, I could. Simply because the computer is looking for hello as a piece of code, I could make hello a piece of code and set it to be the message I want it to be. Like, hey there. All right? And so when I print it, it says hey there because we used a variable. And the variable name is called hello. So now hello is actually a piece of code. And so the computer is okay with it now. But if we get rid of this, we're back to having an error. So hopefully that kind of like shed some lights, made it, make something that make a little bit more sense to you, hopefully. So next, to continue our code here, I want to give the player some instructions on how to proceed with my rock, paper, scissors game. So I'm going to go ahead and type, press 1 for rock, 2 for paper, and 3 for scissors. Okay, so that's the next print. So if I run it, it says press 1, 2, or 3. There we go, for rock, paper, scissors. All right, go ahead and type this for yourself if you need to. Don't forget you can pause the videos, my friend. I sometimes talk a little bit too much or too fast. this is a problem. We all know about this now, okay? So, now that we've gotten past my flaws, we need to allow the user to type. We've asked them to press buttons. We need to give them the ability to do so. I can click here and I can't type. There's nothing happening. And so the keyword to allow someone to type is input. And input is a functionality that requires the open and close parenthesis, just like the print required open and close parenthesis. So anytime you mention this, it automatically allows them to type. So if I copy and paste again and again and again, that means it's going to allow me to type. When I press enter, oh, it's going to allow me to type again and again and again, and then there's nothing else. So 4 times, because there was 4 times that allowed it here. I only need 1, but that's it. Input with a lowercase I, open and close parenthesis, allows the user to actually get the little input thing here to pop up, and then they can type, right? There is some tricks to this where you can actually put a prompt message in here, like please, type something, something, something. So if I hit run, it says it, but we're not going to use this. Just keep it blank. We've already told them here, press 1, 2, or 3. Now they're able to press 1, 2, or 3, press enter, and then nothing happens, right? We want to print below this a validation or confirmation to let them know that they did it right. They pressed the buttons, they did what they're supposed to do, and they've made their selection correctly. So we want to say, you have, let's do a capital Y. You have selected, and then maybe the word rock. I'll just do lowercase rock. Now this would be wrong if I run the game and I press 1. You have selected rock. Good, right? If I run the game and I press 2, you have selected rock, which is wrong. So what we've done is not the right way to do it, because we've hard-coded the word rock. So what we want is not rock here, but we want right here where we have the question mark, we want it to actually say rock, paper, or scissors based on what they have entered. So if we remove this, we can simply say you've entered and then add here what they have entered, right? But we can't hard code this. So what are we gonna do, my friends? If we can't hard code this, we can't just type in rock, we can't type in paper. We need to type in something that will change based on what they enter. Some sort of, let's see, variable? Yes, if you said variable, yes. So we can't just put input here, because remember what I said, every time you type this, it simply allows you to type. So if I say 1, now it's just allowing us to type again. So this is not the way. You cannot just put that there. So what if we took what they're typing and put it in a variable? Remember how we did variables? Remember x equals 5? That's a variable. So why not just kind of like say, well, sorry about that. Well, how about we just say x equal the input? Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Why not? Why not just say that? This allows them to type. Whatever they type goes into x. So now if we put x here, you have entered, or you have selected x. I'll press 2. Boom, you have selected 2. I heard people cheering in my head. I thought maybe. Yeah, there's nobody here. So, it works. The only problem is it's showing 2 when we actually, wanted to show paper for 2, 1, rock for 1, stuff like that. And that's where our conditions will come into play, my friends. Conditions, my dudes, my dudettes, my girls and boys, and young and old. The rest. This is where it will come in. Conditions. So here's what we do. What if we did this to overwrite? Wait, what? Check this out. I press 1. Oops, not there. Over here. It says you've selected hello. If I press 3, you've selected hello. Why? Because even though we're putting the input of what we typed in X, the line below completely overwrites it and say, hey, X is now hello. X is hello. X is hello. 1 equal sign is. Remember that. It's going to be important. Remember, 1 equal sign is. X is hello. What we want, now that we know that we can do that, what we want is to say, hey, can I check to see if X is equal to 1? And then just say X equals rock then? Could that work? Yes, it can. There is a flaw I'm going to expose, but yes, it can. In fact, it's important to properly name your variables. X is not a good name for this variable. This is the user input, so let's just call it user input, and I'll use a capital I there. And I'll say if our user input is equal to 1, then we're going to set our user input to be rock. Now if I press play, something's wrong. A couple of things are wrong, actually. A couple of things are wrong. The problem with this is, remember when I said 1 equal sign means is. And so this is how you assign a value, just like how we're doing it here. We're assigning rock to input. If we do it here, then we're trying to assign 1 to the user input. We want to check to see if it is equal to 1. We want to compare it with 1, not put 1 in it. And for that, we simply need to say 2 equal sign, which means is equal to. Okay? So if user input is equal to 1, then we put rock. And then over here, we also want to change this to user input so we can print you've selected rock if we press 1. So if the input we type goes in here and we check to see if what we put in there is 1, then we change it to rock, so that the selection would say, hey, you've selected rock. This is good, but if we hit run, we still have one minor error. That's not technically it's not really a coding error. It's a logical error. So if I press 1 inside here, 1, press enter, it still says you've selected 1. So why isn't this working? Well, I am going to show you, but first let me make another one here. If I paste this like this, this is completely wrong. I've copied it and I was going to paste it. I want to make another if condition. See how all of these are indented and starting on the same line? I mean, they're all inside of this one if, and that's not what I want. I want to put my if inside another if. So what you want to do is go all the way to the left, then paste it. In fact, let me just make a space. And then I want to check now for 2. And if it's 2, it's going to be paper. However, like I said before, we still have that issue. I press 1, it prints 1. If I go now and I press 2, it still just prints 2 instead of paper. So what's happening here is I want you to understand just the data types difference here. So if you say something like, if you say x equals 2 and you say y equals the word 2, and you want to compare them to see if they're the same, you obviously see that they're not the same. Okay, one is a string and one is actually a number. So what's happening is that input, even though we press a number 1, 2, or 3, it always it always give us the information as a string. So when I type input, when I'm prompted here, if I run it again, when I prompted here and I press 1, what's happening is that input is showing it like this, 1. So this equals 1. And so when I'm checking to see, hey, is it equal to the number 1? Nah, it's saying it's equal to the word, the letter 1, if that makes sense. Letter 1. That's weird, right? So it's not equal to the number 1. It's equal to the letter 1. That's the best I can put it. So what I want to do, let me just fix this. Go back here. So that goes back to input. What we want to do is, now that we know that no matter what numbers you enter into your input, it always shows up as a letter or word. We just have to compare it with a word 1. So we say that. And then we do it here. Because all your inputs are strings. My colleague should have went over strings with you. I'm pretty certain she did. So all of your inputs from the input are strings. Remember this, please. And so now if I play, I press 1, it says you've entered rock. If I stop and play again and press 2, oops, I think I broke it. Press 2, it says you selected paper. And that's it. So add a little space between these, so it's, it's clear that it's just one condition here, one condition here. The third condition I want you to do, right? Try it. I bet you do it. In the next video, though, we're gonna be looking at getting a little bit more logics in this, and then also getting the computer to then generate its own rock, paper, or scissors. And also after this video, a short little test just to make sure that you were paying attention. So shame on you if you weren't, but I trust that you were. That's it for this one. I'm gonna catch you in the next video. So see ya later.